Good evening, all. Thanks so much for joining us, and welcome to our webinar with the New Zealand College of Chiropractic. Quick intro, my name is Logan. I will be your brief guide here. A couple of notes as we get ready to get started. Of course, we will record the presentation. We will share the recording with everybody who registers, so don't worry about that. You'll get the recording in an email tomorrow. We can also, of course, ask any questions that you have in the Q&A in the chat. We'll sort of tackle them throughout the show. Anything specific on your mind, we're more than happy to dive into. That's what we're here to answer your questions, to help you understand about New Zealand and chiropractic. So again, if you have any questions, comments, drop them in the chat. My name is Logan. I'll be keeping an eye on things, but in the interim, I will pass it off to our real host, Philippa Wheatcroft from the New Zealand College of Chiropractic. Philippa, thanks so much for joining us. Take it away.
Thank you very much, Logan, and thank you so much for setting this up. And welcome to the lovely people who have joined us so far. We're very excited to be able to share not only what chiropractic is, but also what studying in New Zealand might look like. So there's sort of two parts to the talk that we'll have today, and I would love to introduce Dr. David Shiner, if you just give a little wave there. Dr. David Shiner is joining us from the States. I'm joining you from New Zealand. So I'm going to ask David a bunch of questions on your behalf to help explain what chiropractic might be. For some of you, you may know some will know little about what chiropractic is, but feel free to jump in at any point with any questions. We're very informal and we very much enjoy just responding. It's not going to be a slick presentation as in a sales pitch. We just want to share information. If this is helpful to you, well, then that's wonderful. Then where we will go with our conversation is, of course, to tell you also about what studying at the New Zealand College of Chiropractic is like, what the life is like down under, as we like to call it, but also what's unique and special about this amazing college that we have here in New Zealand. We have a very high percentage of international students, so you will not be alone in joining us from wherever you are in the world. So we have 30% international students, as I say. So I would love now to hand over to Dr. David Shiner, who would hopefully tell us a little bit about his own journey into chiropractic and what makes chiropractic this amazing health profession and career choice also. So David, yeah.
Well, that's a lot. I mean, because the journey into chiropractic, it's such a long story. I'm going to keep it brief. And I was not looking for chiropractic as a career. Interestingly enough, Philip, I don't know if we've ever spoken about this, although I was a sociology major in university. I was always interested in people and what made them do what they do. And also growing up in a home that was, had a lot of activities, so to speak, where it was never a dull moment. I was always interested in what makes families do what they do, what makes people do what they do. And I was thinking of going into psychology or social work to help people that had problems in the home or things like this. And when I graduated from university with a degree in sociology, the health sciences were the furthest thing from my mind. And so I was working back home in New York on Long Island, and somebody suggested at the time, I was working in a nursing home. There was 267 old people in this one building, and I was working there for about 9 months. So I felt like I had 267 grandparents, and somebody at that time suggested that you should go see a chiropractor because it helps athletes perform better. And I was a high-level baseball player, so I went to the chiropractor. And the next thing I know, he had me not only get adjusted, and you'll ask me questions on what that is in a few minutes, I'm sure, but I asked him, what did you just do to me, Tony? Go figure, his name was Tony from New York. I said, Tony, what'd you just do to me? He said, if you want to know what I just did for you, not to you, come back next Thursday night to my health talk. So to make a long story short, I went back next Thursday night and I listened to Tony for an hour and a half talk about the wisdom of the human body, about the body's ability to heal itself naturally, and about how chiropractors can be their own boss and have flexibility and freedom in their schedule and in their life. And you can help people heal from all kinds of things. So when his talk was over, 29 people ran out the door quickly because it was a blizzard. It was a high blizzard coming down, high level blizzard. And I stayed. I didn't care if I had to sleep in his office. And I said, Tony, the second question I have for you, the first one was last week. What'd you just do to me? The second one that I have for you is, how do I become what you do? Because I felt like chiropractic was seeking me out, like it was searching for me. I wasn't searching for it. And so he said, well, apply to this college. And long story short, it's 30 years later.
And what a beautiful story it's been. And
Yeah.
and we do sometimes hear this, David, that chiropractic seeks certain people out. It taps them on the shoulder, sometimes gently and sometimes quite persistently until they recognize what the call might be. That sounds a little bit woo-woo, I know, but actually as we go on, we're going to delve into what makes this profession unique. It's definitely a giving profession, it's a helping profession, it's a health profession. But what sets chiropractic sort of apart, or where does it sit in the whole range of health professions? And you talked about looking at working in psychology or social work, and many people look at other physical therapy professions or medical professions. Where does chiropractic sort of sit?
What's interesting about that, it's a great question, Philippa, is that chiropractic sits mainly outside of the rest of the healing professions because the other healing professions are looking to treat the symptoms and the diseases that people have. And don't get me wrong, if somebody comes in to the chiropractic office with low back pain or neck pain or headaches or shoulder pain, as a chiropractor, we're going to meet them at the level that they came in at. Then what we like to do is also educate them about the wonders and the wisdom that their body has innately and inborn to heal itself. And what I mean by that is that the human body is run and controlled by our nervous system. The brain, the extension of the brain, which is the spinal cord, and then the 31 pair of nerves that come off of the spinal cord that are called spinal nerves. That system, the nervous system, controls and coordinates every single function of the body, every system, every organ, every tissue, every cell. Therefore, where chiropractic sits is in educating the patients that if you have interference in that system, the nervous system, you're better off without it. And what that means is once we give the chiropractic adjustment to the segments of the vertebrae that are out of alignment, that have the nervous system in there, and the interference is removed, then that person can heal themselves. Does that make sense? And the person's going to heal themselves. So it's very interesting because at the New Zealand College of Chiropractic, we adhere to those founding principles of philosophy that the profession was founded upon. And I know that that's a mouthful, and what that means is when we adjust the spine and remove the interference from the nervous system, that person now has the ability to live life optimally. And if they're going to heal themselves of whatever condition they have, they're going to do the healing. We as the chiropractor don't do the healing. Does that make sense? So
It does. It does. And, I guess we all have to some degree, an awareness of our body's ability to heal. When we think about things as simple, perhaps as a cut finger or a broken bone, we're all familiar with the fact that maybe you'll protect it with a plaster of one sort or another. And I'm here for those people who can see. I don't know, those people who may not be able to visually see, I'm gesturing to my arm. We put a plaster cast on and we protect it, but we're not actually doing the healing there, are we? By doing that. It is our own body's ability to heal. But yet some people don't heal so readily. Some people don't heal so fully. Some people are the ones in the room, in the family, in the community, who are more readily unwell, more frequently the first to catch whatever pathogen bug is going around, and the last one to be healthy. Whereas there are other people that we know who are just blessed, we feel, with a different immune system response. David, tell me what might be going on there, the differences.
as far as one person versus the other,
Yeah, different people's responses. What do you suggest might be happening there?
responses to the adjustment or to
No,
the
adjust
pathogens.
pathogens.
Yeah, well, you're correct, Philippa. People have immune systems that are different from one another, but also person A might be more of a happy-go-lucky person, and everything just kind of flows right off their shoulders. They don't keep all the weight of the world on their shoulders, which is hard to do. I know, the world that we live in. That's why New Zealand's such a special place. It's in its own bubble. It's not affected so much by the rest of the world. I kid. However, and then person B, they may be very, very high stress levels, and they keep all the weight of the world on their shoulders. Their immune system is a little bit lower, so when the bacteria comes in, or the pathogens, whatever it is, it's going to hit them a little bit more than the other person. And then I also, for a moment, want to talk on DNA, like epigenetics. And we all have the DNA blueprint of our body. So one person that does really well, for example, drinking coffee, the other person may respond a different way to drinking coffee. So it's the genetic blueprint, it's the immune system being able to fight things off. But I'll tell you what, a human being is only as good as their nervous system is functioning. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this leads us back to what you were saying in the beginning, David, about chiropractic actually being a lot about the nervous system. We mostly think it's just about our back, but it's actually about the interrelationship between the nervous system and the spine. So perhaps if you'd share a little more around that.
Yeah, I think it's interesting in that one of my greatest mentors in chiropractic told me that chiropractic doesn't have anything to do with the back. He said it's just because the part of the nervous system is located in the vertebral column. So that gives us a gateway, and it's an entry point for chiropractors to access the nervous system to be able to adjust the bones back into their proper alignment, taking the pressure and interference off of the neurology and the nervous system so that person can optimize their function and performance. He said to me, if the nervous system was located in the leg, chiropractors would focus on legs and we'd be known as leg doctors. I said, well, that's so interesting. So if people had leg pain, they'd go to the chiropractor. That's kind of interesting. So we're not just looking to get rid of pain. Listen, it's a part of what chiropractors do, right? Maybe it's 10 to 20% of what we do. The other 70 to 80% is making sure that lifeline, the real lifeline, that life-giving of the human, which is the neurology, the nervous system, the brain, the spinal cord, and those 31 pathways, has no interference in it.
So what you're telling us, David, is that chiropractic is much more about the brain and its ability to connect via that nervous system pathway to the body, and back up through that same channel, the body being able to relay the messages of where there is inflammation, where there is infection, back up through that nervous system pathway to the brain, which is our master controller, really. We kind of know it, but how does the message get through and to?
It's so fascinating, and we don't think about it. It's on autopilot. So on any given day, because of what's going on in here, which is called thoughts, human beings have 60 to 70,000 thoughts per day. 90% of those thoughts are the same as the day before. And we're always thinking about, what am I going to have for dinner at breakfast? What am I going to have for lunch tomorrow? And all the stress of life. We're constantly thinking about everything. But we don't give any thought to what's actually going on within us. There's a whole universe happening inside. And if we had a little window into what was happening inside of us, I would venture to say that most people would have a little bit more gratitude for their entire life in general. And what I mean by that is, if you all that are on this call think for a moment about your blood flowing through your body right now. Your blood is flowing effortlessly through your body, carrying waste to a certain organ, carrying nutrients to a different place, carrying oxygen to, and this is going on 24/7, 365 without us even thinking about it. Now, think about the heart. Think about your lungs and what your lungs do, and your kidneys and all your other organs. What about the cardiovascular system? What about the reproductive system? Now we have systems of the body. So I like to say that we are miraculous. Our bodies are also so smart. I want you all to understand that the brain generates 4,000 messages per second. 4,000 per second. And it sends those messages from the brain down the spinal cord, across those 31 pair of spinal nerves. How do those messages from the brain know what level of the spinal cord to get off and go across that nerve to go to what part of the body to tell that part of the body what to do, like the heart? How does the brain code that message? It does it with proteins. So it's fascinating how your body works. And we trace that back to chiropractic because it's the only profession that removes the interference from those pathways. So the 4,000 messages from the brain can get to all the different parts of the body for optimum function and performance. And one of the things that the body will do is heal itself of pain, because it's one of the warning signals that the body will give to the brain to let the brain know that there's interference within. So as a chiropractor, we work with the wisdom of the body from within, and we're healing people. Actually, they're doing the healing, as we said before, but it's fascinating.
It is. It's a powerful way for us to live life in a much more natural response, to enable our bodies to use this wisdom to heal ourselves without external intervention. And I think that we've lost sight of it. You know, like we think it's okay to put a band-aid on things, and figuratively and literally. But in fact, let's get to the root cause of why we might be experiencing this poor health response. Let's remove the interference that gets in the way of the brain recognizing where there is the inflammation, infection, imbalance. Imbalance is everything, you know, like your heart rhythm, your blood pressure. And so there are some remarkable stories that happen when people do start having chiropractic care. Yes, they'll feel the benefits of back pain being removed, or headaches alleviated, functionality returned. Great. Tick, 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 tick. But what we find in chiropractic offices around the world, and David, you will have experienced this when you were in practice, and I know you did start off in practice and had many successful practices where you saw incredible changes in people's overall health. They came to you for their backs, they came to you because of pain. you treated the symptoms, but then educated and inspired people to consider the potential of continuing on with healthcare in such a way that they would see changes in their overall health response. And so that we see remarkable changes in people where they come off blood pressure medication, their skin conditions clear up, asthma, eczema, children stop bedwetting. And you've got to ask, well, what on earth has bedwetting got to do with chiropractic? David, maybe you might take us there.
Yeah, I mean, it's so interesting. And again, Philippa, you hit the nail on the head because we're not telling the patients that come in that, okay, your child's bedwetting, oh, we can help them get rid of that. We can't tell them that because that's practicing medicine without a license. What we do tell them is, let's go ahead and check the overall function of the body. We're going to check the status of the function within. And we have certain tools that we use and certain technology and thermography and scanning devices to see what's going on inside the body. And again, when that child that's bedwetting, for example, usually we see that there's a lot of stress going on in the home. Stress is one of the #1 causes of tightening the muscles. What are the muscles connected to? The vertebrae of the spine. The muscles will get tight. Child is stressed. Pull on those muscles. The muscles will pull the vertebrae out of alignment. The vertebrae will put pressure and irritation on the nerve. And the nerve that we usually find that has that pressure and irritation on it is going to the bladder. And so the bladder function is irregular. So the child, when they go to sleep, or they're relaxed, they're asleep, they're not thinking. So they wet the bed because they're relaxed. And during the day, when they're in that high stress state, a lot of the parents report to us that the child doesn't even go to the bathroom much during the day. Or they can't do like #2, so to speak, because there's so much pressure and stress on that with children. So we find also that children that are under chiropractic care that weren't able to go to the bathroom are able to now go to the bathroom. Headaches go away, ear infections clear up, because when we're adjusting these vertebrae back into alignment, and the patient, whether it's a child or an adult or an elderly person, has that interference removed, then the brain's messages, you see, the brain is controlling the hormones too. And we have to have the right amount of hormones at the right time occurring in the body for these different. We need a hormone to go to bed. We need a certain hormone to wake up in the morning. We need a hormone when we eat our meals. And the brain is coordinating all of this some of the time, no, all of the time. And it is doing it through itself. We really ought not call it a nervous system. We should call the whole thing the brain.
Yeah.
It's one brain. So in our world, we break everything up into parts and pieces. So think of the nervous system as just this one brain, this one central command, where it is giving the directives for the entire body to function right. It's like going to the symphony. Okay, the brain and the spinal cord and the nerves, let's just say that whole thing is the conductor of the symphony. And it has the wand, and it's making sure that every instrument is sounding perfect in that orchestra. That's the brain. And
the conductor.
And conductor, right, of the symphony. So the heart is the cello, the drums is the kidneys, so we can relate it to that analogy. And that's how it works. That's why these children stop bedwetting. That's why people's migraine headaches clear up. That's why back pain and neck pain and shoulder pain, all these different pains go away, because the brain is finally able to send all those messages that it sends all day long with no interference to their proper destinations, uninterrupted. And that's how we were created. We were created in perfection, not imperfection. We were created in perfection. What happens because of the way we live and how stressful life is, chemical stress, foods that we eat, things that we drink, too much alcohol, too many other substances. It's okay, everything in moderation, we hear, that's good. But too much stress, relationship issues, motor vehicle accidents, physical traumas, all these different traumas.
Just sitting on the motorway, actually, David.
Yeah. Whether you're in Canada, whatever part of the world you're in, I'm in the United States. I live in Atlanta, Georgia. The traffic here, don't get me started. I don't want to get interference in my nervous system any more than I already have. But so that's what we're talking about. That's how this whole thing works. And chiropractic, I want everybody on the call to understand, is not just for people that are in pain.
Yeah.
Anybody that has a nervous system that wants to operate optimally as a human being is a candidate for chiropractic care. And what that means is, don't wait to go see the chiropractor until you're in pain, because pain is the last thing to show up and the first thing to go. We take better care of our teeth than we do our nervous system.
Actually, that's a really, really great point to make, because we are quite comfortable with the idea that this is not a one and done thing. Going to the gym is not a one and done thing. Why not look after your nervous system on an ongoing basis and optimize the way you live? And so that's where I guess the education process is so important, isn't it, David, that we would help people to understand that removing this disruption, removing the interference that is perpetually attacking our nervous system's optimal function is an ongoing requirement, because we're always faced with these stressors, whether it's a physical impact injury, from playing sports, or just even tripping up. But all these stressors of life that you've talked about, they're always happening, aren't they? So it's not a one and done. Go to the chiropractor. Yep, I feel better today. But it's a continuous process of perhaps attending to removing the interference in our nervous system. And so that's why it's a great profession, actually, because you build this lifelong relationship with your client group, don't you? And I'm sure there's been such joy for you in practice in building those relationships.
You build the relationships, and then what happens is, since we also take care of pregnant women, and a lot of people say, oh, a pregnant woman can get adjusted. It's one of the most important times for someone to have their nervous system checked, because they're growing another person inside of them. So we want to make sure that the communication from mother through the uterus and the umbilical cord to the baby, everything is happening right. So there's certain gentle adjustments that we provide to the pregnant mother. And then the joy happens once they have a great birth and delivery. Then they'll bring that baby to us 2 weeks later. And when they hand that baby over and say, can you check Susie or Johnny for interference in the nervous system? Because we want to make sure that as a baby, they have the potential to grow right. Because there's a saying in chiropractic, as the twig is bent, so grows the tree. So if the nervous system, if the spine, because the birth process is one of the most traumatic processes that we go through when we go through the birth canal, puts a lot of pressure on our neck and our cervical spine, that we want the parents, once they understand and they're educated properly about the importance of the baby getting checked, they bring them to us. And so then we'll take care of the babies, and then they get older, and then they go through school and high school and college, and that just keeps going. I have friends that have been in practice for 60 years, and they have 3 generations of patients. They just, the chiropractors don't retire. Most of them that love what they do, they just can't get up and do it anymore. So
they reduce hours. Yeah.
those of you that are out there that are looking for a calling, a purpose, something that you want to go to every day for 40, 50 years, and don't feel like you're going to work, you're going to play, because you will create a chiropractic office that is a reflection of who you are. It's a representation of what you enjoy doing in life. It's about you. And there's really no other health profession where you can go into business at some point in time after maybe you associate for a chiropractor, if you choose to do that for a while, no other health profession that you can truly have that place mirror and have it be a reflection of you. So you're actually going someplace every day that's going to light you up. You're going to be energized, filled with joy and happiness because of what you are doing for people. And guess what? When these people are around you and they see how much joy and happiness and enthusiasm you have, they refer their family and friends and coworkers to you because they're going to want them to be around you. And that's how this thing works. You'll have more patience than you'll know what to do with. And then the last thing, and it's usually the first thing everybody wonders, well, how much money can I make? As a chiropractor, there's so much money to make. And I have friends that are in part-time practice. They work 3 days a week at this point. They're grossing $250,000 a year. I have people, Brad Glowacki and other people that are in 6-7 day a week practice and it's 7-figure income. But it's not, the focus is not on how much money I can make. It's how many people can I serve? How many people can I take care of? And then the money will follow when you love what you do.
And that is so true, isn't it, David? When you're called to do something that aligns so much with your own values and purpose, that gives you such meaning, the money will just follow.
Right.
And it's an important point for people who are considering, am I going to go and study for 5 years to be a chiropractor? And that's a very big consideration. There's an expense. There is a time commitment. There is potentially a location adjustment coming to the Southern Hemisphere, which of course has amazing benefits, but it's a big consideration. And these are the things that I would love to talk with people about. What is it like to study here with us? I should have mentioned earlier, but we are going to have one of our beautiful students, Jaya, who is from Canada, who is going to join us when she finishes class. So this is morning here in New Zealand, and I know it's evening for you folks in the Northern Hemisphere. This is morning. And so Jaya will join us shortly. She is a beautiful student here in her 3rd year of the 5-year degree, and so she is going to speak from her own living experience of what it's like to study as a chiropractor. So she'll join us shortly. So just giving you warning that she'll be here. And at any time that any of you feel like unmuting and asking a question or typing in a message, we would always love to bounce stuff back. So just feel free that this is your opportunity to find out what it is that you would like to know. We'll keep talking, but at some point you might have a particular thing that is on your mind. Please feel free just to let us know where we can take things. We're totally relaxed with that. But where you were going, David, and thank you so much for this. I know in practice you will have seen that, and I see this around the country and around the world, that this practice it's a joyful practice. Being a chiropractor, being in a chiropractor's office is a very joyful place to be. Unlike many other medical professions, you go there and it's a very somber and depressing place because people are not actually getting well. People's health is just being managed. And there's a difference to managing health as opposed to optimizing health. And people actually recover from the back pain and the discomfort, but they actually progress forward in so many other dimensions of their life. And when your blood pressure, for example, is now regulating itself, the risks that you might have had for heart attack, for strokes, the serious episodes of health, you've minimized your risks there. And so you'll find that not only is chiropractic a joyful place to work as a profession, but that the joy just is infectious. And you'll find people who have regular chiropractic care are vibrant, are vital. And actually that brings us to, what chiropractic, we call it, the philosophy that New Zealand College of Chiropractic teaches is called vitalistic chiropractic. And that's all about recognizing this amazing, incredible wisdom within the body's power to self-heal, self-organize, self-regulate.
Yeah, exactly. Philippa, Can I say one thing about the chat room? So, Tony put a few things in there, and I'd like to touch upon them real quick.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, let me get to the first one, and then I'm going to hand it to Philippa. And there is a 4-year and a 5-year. Philippa will talk about that. It's 4 years if you enter into the second year straight out of certain things, and it's 4 years. It's 5 years if you don't have the foundational year with the prerequisites. And Tony asked, can I enroll right after high school graduation? Yes, you can. You would come into our year one foundational year on campus in Mount Wellington, right outside of Auckland, and do all the prerequisite sciences. There's 5 of them, and the elective courses, and then go into year two. Philippa will talk about that in a second. I want to just talk about the cost of living. The last question that he asked for New Zealand as a student, it's actually a 21% savings on the exchange rate. So Canadians are going to save a lot of money going to the program in New Zealand for the tuition and room and board and eating and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Philippa, what else do you have on all
Absolutely.
those great questions?
What I would love you to do, Tony, and anybody, of course, is jump on our website. We've got an awful lot of answers on there. What I was just going to do was just excuse me being unprepared, and I should have actually brought this with me, is tell you what the fees would be, the New Zealand fee. So I'm just pulling that up on my phone right now as we speak. So you would come in as an international student, Tony, and I know you have talked about your various passports. Unless you were a New Zealand citizen, you would pay New Zealand domestic rates. So you would definitely be eligible for a student visa as a Canadian, and then you would be paying international student rates. The first year would be this is New Zealand dollars. So as David said, do the conversion to Canadian dollars and you win all the way. New Zealand dollars, 29,520 for the first year. And then years 2, 3, 4, and 5, they would all be at 38,280. I know that when you do the conversion rate does work out a little cheaper than if you were looking at colleges close to home. So it does work out pretty well for you guys. Cost of living in New Zealand is I would be very happy to send you a living in Auckland guide so that you could get an idea of what sort of the costs would be. We say that on average, as a real good basic, to rent a room in a student flat might be about on average $200 a week that you would allow for that, but that again, New Zealand dollars. But Tony, if you and I were to communicate offline, and I know that my email address will be up there, you and I can have a chat and I will send you a living in Auckland guide, which will cover what the power would be, what connecting up to a mobile calling plan would be, what food would cost and transport costs and all of these really important things. So I think it's a little cheaper than in some other countries, but comparable to other countries. Definitely not more expensive than Canada. And a Bachelor of Chiropractic, does it make getting into a chiropractic master's study easier versus having a Bachelor of Kinesiology? Well, in fact, a Bachelor of Chiropractic in New Zealand qualifies you to use the title. You're entitled to use the title of doctor. Doctor of Chiropractic. So you would be graduating from us after the 5 years of study with a title and with a qualification that enables you to go straight out into practice. It is the whole entire qualification. You can choose to do a full Bachelor of Kinesiology first if you wish to come in, and that's when you would join year 2 of our program, because the kinesiology degree would cover off all of those prerequisites that David was talking about. But you don't need to do a full kinesiology degree if you wanted to just do 1 year. And if we could tick away and make sure in that year you covered off all the 5 prerequisites, that's a good pathway. That's a great pathway. But you've got the choice. Come straight from school or come and do just a year of your kinesiology degree and then come to us after that. Have I covered all of the things for you, Tony? I'm just
And you can come straight out of high school. Oh, one more thing, Philippa, I wanted to say about, depending on where these students are in Canada, I'm going to about 3 or 4 cities next week to do in-person career talks, informational sessions. I'm going to be On Tuesday next week, I'm going to be in Saskatoon. Wednesday, I'm going to be in Edmonton. Thursday, Calgary. And on Saturday in Vancouver, British Columbia. If there's any students on the call that are in those cities, it would be great to get your information in the chat. So say, put your name and put I'm in whatever the city is. Yeah, thanks, Logan. So those are the cities. I'll be there in person next week. And if anybody's in Vancouver, if you know somebody that is, there's a high level on Friday and Saturday chiropractic seminar that students can come to for free and hear some great talks. I'll be opening it up after they introduce the program on Friday morning at about 10 after 10, and then other speakers, and we'll have these other sessions if anybody's in those cities. Then I'll be in Toronto on November 15th and in Halifax, Nova Scotia on the 16th. So if anybody's in any of those cities, come and give us your info.
And we've got all those details up on our website. So just jump on our website, and where you see on the banner at the top of our main homepage, upcoming events, just drop down into there and you'll see all of these beautiful events that David is talking about. And he will be there. So you get to meet him in person, which is a huge bonus. So David is an incredibly successful practitioner, but his passion, and we're grateful for his passion, is around enabling students to find their passion as well. And we're incredibly grateful for that, David. So you're in amazing good hands with him going to one of these events.
Yeah. Great. And I'm happy to give, there's the link. Thank you for putting that in there.
Beautiful. Thanks, Logan.
Yeah, Logan is on the ball. I'm happy to give, until Jaya shows up, a few of those tidbits on no matter what career it is that you end up choosing, how I can help you choose it so you will have that life of joy, happiness, and fulfillment. And it comes from asking yourself 6 simple questions. I don't know if you have anything to write with or if you want to put these in your phone. And people don't ask themselves these questions typically because nobody gives them to them. First, I want you to understand that 90% of the people on the planet that work, which is about 4 billion people, don't like what they do for a living. In fact, when they get up in the morning, they get sick just thinking about going. Because when you already know how much you can make and you know how far you can go in the thing, it erodes your self-esteem and you hit this proverbial glass ceiling or this brick wall. So it behooves you to fit into the other 10% of the people on the planet that work that love what they do. The first question to ask yourself is, what do I want? First and foremost, the most important question is, what do I want? Get clear on what it is that you want for a living. What do you want for your life? Not what does somebody else want for you, right? Number 2 is, what would that do for me specifically? And I'll do these pretty quickly because Jai is here. She's got a break.
Oh, you just worked that out. Yes, but that's okay. We love hearing you say this. Thank you,
great.
David.
So number 1, please make a note. What do I want? And number 2 is, what would that do for me specifically? What would that do for me specifically? Listen, if you don't get clear on who it is that you want to be for the world, somebody else is going to see the greatness and magnificence inside of you, and they're going to hire you to use you for their gain and their benefit. So get really clear on what you want and what that would do for you specifically. Number 3 is, what do I love? What do I love? What do I love spending my time with? What do I love spending my time doing? Who do I love spending my time with? Things like that. Number 4, what are my unique talents? This is so important. What are my unique talents? Everybody's born with some talents. I call it also your gift, your talents and your gift. The problem with that is most people want their gift to be what somebody else's gift is. Identify your own gift. The next one is, what does the world need? What does the world need? But if you figure out what the world needs, you're in good shape. Let me give you the last question, and that is, what can I be paid for? What can I be paid for? And let me just go reverse engineer this for you so you can have this formula of success. What you could be paid for is figuring out what the world needs. And what the world needs are people that are uniquely talented doing what they love? And that's those questions in a reverse order. I just answered it for you. Chiropractic's not for everybody. There is something for you. And we want you to be so happy with whatever it is that you embark upon, so fulfilled, so thrilled. We want you to live a life of so much joy and happiness. And if you do choose to become a chiropractor, connect with Philippa. She will lead you in the pathway to admissions and enrollment. There's nobody better in this business. I've worked for multiple chiropractic colleges, and Philippa's at the top of being able to help you get where you want to be. And Jaya is going to come on, and Jaya and I met in Canada. So if any of you are going to be in any of the places I'm going to, come and register at that link.
Perfect. Thank you so much, David.
You're welcome.
And yeah, it's a real joy. We're very happy to help you in whatever way is useful, and we hope that this is the starting point of you being so inspired that you can't wait to get on a call with us. And we do things in a very different way to most other colleges. We love to connect with people on an individual basis and just see what your questions are, what your interests are, and there's never any pressure. It's like David said, if this is not for you, then that's a great discovery in itself. But if it is for you, well, we will do whatever it is that is needed to be done to help you work out the path to get here. For the guest. Oh, yes, Jaya. I'm going to introduce Jaya. She's spelt J-I-A. So thank you, Tony. I love your question. This question's for Jaya. How many chiropractic schools did you consider, and how did you land on NZCC? But first, I'm just going to say welcome and thank you. It's just very special. Jaya is a beautiful student, and we're grateful to have you here join us. So share from wherever you wish to be about your journey of what it was like to come, and answering Tony's question is perfect, about like all the steps that you took to evaluate all the different colleges, and why did you decide to come to NZCC?
It's a great question. Thank you. Very happy to be here. I was actually looking at a couple of schools. I had, of course, CMCC in my brain because it's in Canada, so that would probably be the most convenient location-wise for me. But I was also looking at Palmer, and I was looking at Life West, and I was looking at Life University in Georgia. And the reason I was looking at those schools is because the chiropractors I knew graduated from there and they had good things to say. And it actually wasn't until I met a NZCC grad at a chiro conference in Calgary. And I think my main reason for choosing NZCC was just based on what he had to say about the curriculum and what is taught. It really mattered to me to have a very hands-on school, because I mean, chiropractors, you work with your hands, and that really matters. And when I was looking at other schools, specifically more CMCC, no offense to that school, but it's a little bit more academic. Not to say that NZCC isn't, because trust me, it's definitely academic. But it really mattered that we'd have hands-on patients throughout the entire degree, which is exactly what I've been experiencing now. I mean, I just came from a tech class, and we're hands-on adjusting in class right now, and I'm not even in my third year yet, which is really, really cool. And yeah, I think,
and one thing to add in there, just throwing little thoughts in as they come up, if you don't mind, is the way our school does business is incredible. Like the ratio of mentors, faculty, registered practicing chiropractors to students is amazing. We have about a 1:15 ratio. So you're on the floor actually learning, but you're not learning out of a textbook. You're learning with somebody right there beside you, just reshaping where you're aligning your thrust, your palpation, everything is actually closely supervised and guided. That's how you perfect your craft.
Well, yeah, because you can't learn from a textbook. Like, you can read the steps, but when you actually get there and there's a person on the table, it's kind of like, oh my gosh, what do I do? So it's really valuable that like there's a mentor right there and they're available, and you can just ask them, okay, like I have this person, how do I modify my body to make sure that I'm putting in the best thrust possible? So that makes a difference big time. I think another thing for why I chose NZCC specifically was just the experience. I mean, New Zealand is a beautiful country, and I've never had an opportunity to travel to this side of the country in my life. And I was like, well, if I'm going to go to chiropractic school, I might as well just go big or go home. And I mean, I wouldn't have done it every other way because you're on a completely different side. It's a new experience. There's new people, and I'm away from home. I have opportunities to grow in so many different ways. So I think between just like the curriculum and the experience, those were probably the things that really hit home for me. So that would be my answer to that one.
If anybody is at all curious about what New Zealand is like, it's like Canada, all the best of Canada, but just a little smaller, like a lot smaller. And there's a positive and a negative in that. Our mountains might not be so high, but Jaya is from Calgary. Thank you, Addison. That's lovely. But accessibility to our beaches. So our college is in Auckland. You are 20 minutes from White Sand Beaches, which is on the east coast of New Zealand, and about an hour and a quarter on the other side, to the west coast of New Zealand, to black sand beaches and great surfing. So pluses and minuses to being quite small. We're a very long, thin country. So you get to go and do all the cool things, the mountains, the forests, the hiking, the water sports, the snow sports, it's all here, but it's all in nice, compact, accessible reach.
Yep.
Mm.
Also, even just... Oh, sorry. Go ahead, David.
No, please.
I was just going to comment on your comment that you made in the chat, just talking about how DCs are seeking NZCC grads. That's actually very true. Just coming from a student perspective, I mean, another reason I came here is just the fact that the chiros that I worked for, because I was a CA for 3 years, literally told me to come to this school. And the chiros that I've met in the community are like, oh, you know what, while you're there, can you just send another DC back for me to hire? Like it's really building a reputation in Canada. So yeah, it's a very well-known name and a good one, and getting even bigger too.
And what we're finding now is that more and more chiropractors in Canada are sending their own children to us for study, because they know that's where you will get the best hands-on education as well as the academic side of it. And you'll graduate with the skills to go straight into an associateship. If you wanted to go straight into billable hours, that'll be you. Yeah.
Addison, is that anywhere near Calgary? I'm sure Jaya knows this too, or Edmonton, because I'll be in both Calgary and Edmonton. Looseland,
Saskatchewan.
I don't know where.
Are you going to Saskatoon?
Oh, sorry, I'll be in Saskatoon. How far is that? Well, you're from Saskatchewan, but right now you're in Alberta. I was just wondering if you're anywhere near Edmonton or Calgary. In Lloydminster. Where's Lloydminster? Anyway, one thing I wanted to say about what's one of the reasons that... Oh, nice, Addison. That's
Addison,
fantastic. Yeah. I can't wait to go back to Saskatoon next week. I love it there. I'm not just saying that. I love all of Canada. However, one of the reasons that these chiropractors are highly, highly seeking the NZCC grads is because we're graduating master adjusters. What do I mean by that? Well, there's 9 chiropractic adjusting techniques in the curriculum, and then we require a minimum of 500 health center contacts, adjustments. And from what I hear, we're raising that to 750. Our president said at one of our recent meetings. Jaya, you might get out under the radar there.
That's quite a few. Holy cow.
Let me just finish this one point, and then you can hopefully answer Addison's question. I would love to hear what you get up to.
And Pasana will answer your question too. Thank you.
So just real quickly, we're talking about 3 times the amount of adjustment requirements from other chiropractic colleges around the world. And why are we doing that? We're doing that because we are a chiropractic college. It's all we are. It's all we do. We don't have all these other undergraduate degrees, master's degrees. We're not diluting chiropractic. So if you want to become a chiropractor, I highly encourage you go to a chiropractic college. there's only a few left. And now there's a lot of chiropractic programs around the world. And what I mean by that, there's only a few left that are just teaching chiropractic. And yeah, there was something else I wanted to say with that, but Jaya, I think you're being...
Just one thing I would love to throw in there is that our internship, which is part of our program, that we talked about these minimum number of visits that you would need to do, that comes in years 4 and 5 of the degree. And we have probably the largest chiropractic centre in Australasia on our campus. And our students become interns in their years 4 and 5 and build a practice with real fee-paying people. They are supervised by external. So we have our own faculty, but they're also, in addition to our own faculty, we have mentors that are made up of practicing chiropractors. These are people who run their own businesses, very successful in their own way, but choose to come back and give back to our students who are developing their skills. So they come back and they might do a shift a week or 2 shifts a week and come in and they're on the floors. This ratio I'm talking about of 1 to 15, that's real practicing chiropractors who have got this depth of real world current experience that they are sharing with our students all the way as part of their journey. So it's so much beyond textbook learning. It's real world learning. Yeah. And that's why our grads are snapped up around the world. So there's a couple of questions in here. Do you have to have a license to practice in Canada? Thank you, Apasna. Yes, you do, and you would need to sit board exams, chiropractic board exams, Canadian chiropractic board exams before you would practice, and that's very normal. And there will be a whole cohort of lovely Canadian students going through doing the same thing at the same time. And yes, it's you are well prepared at NZCC to pass those exams.
And that's for anywhere around the world where chiropractic is legal. There are still some countries where you can't practice chiropractic. It's crazy. The government doesn't recognize it. But wherever it does, just like any other health profession, you do need to take boards and pass the boards and maybe a state or provincial exam as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you have to do that regardless of what school you go to pass Canadian boards to practice too. So it's not like it's an additional test by coming here.
No.
Yeah.
There's a lovely question here, Addison, and thank you for asking this because it's a great opener to understand what life is like here in New Zealand for a student here. Just prefacing your question, which is around what do you get up to when you aren't doing school? Just know that the college is not based in the central city, thankfully. We're just in a regular suburb. We're about 10 minutes south. You can get into the city if that's what your jam is, but you don't need to go anywhere near.
It's so much fun. Oh, I love Auckland. So anyway,
but food. Tell us a little.
Addison said that they applied for 2027. They wanted to hop on and hear more about New Zealand itself. So keep going.
Yeah, please.
Sure. Yeah. When I'm studying, I'm the type of person to study. So that's kind of what I do when we're in school. But when I'm not like in school, New Zealand, you just travel anywhere. Like the beaches are stunning. There's hikes everywhere, which I've done as well. I love to hike. And that was one of the things I did a lot in Canada. So it's pretty much the same thing here, but slightly different. It's slightly warmer. You can see beaches that go on for literally ever. Sometimes I do venture into the city and go for a coffee or go to a Pilates class or something like that. And then you've also got some breaks during school too, so you can travel. I'm headed to Australia in a little bit here, so that'll be another fun adventure for me. So yeah, honestly, most of what I do when I'm not studying is just absorb and enjoy the country. I love to be outside, and anywhere you go, it's just beautiful. So why would you do anything else?
It's a pretty temperate climate. I think that now we work in Celsius, not Fahrenheit, but we don't really in Auckland get down into single digits very much at all in winter. So when I grew up, I might have been a bit tougher than I am now, but I never even had a coat. I just would have 1 layer, 2 layers, like a jumper and a top. You didn't need big overcoats and snow boots and things like that. It's a very comfortable climate. How we get around, the gold standard is to try and live in a house within walking distance of the college. And this is all just pretty family homes. So that's the way, like you live
I would say so. Like I live right across the street from the college. I got really lucky in terms of where I live. But I do also take public transit too. Like I am a CA, and I work in a community decently close to the college, and I take transport there or public transport there. And then when I go to the city, I also take public transport. Some people do have cars. If you like to take adventures, you know, all around New Zealand, and that probably might make a little bit more sense for you. But lots of people here have cars too. So carpooling is another thing that we do when we just want to go on an adventure. We'll take, a couple cars and just carpool. But yeah.
And the other thing in talking, particularly Addison, as you're thinking about coming to NZCC, and I'm so excited to hear that, is that we have a lot of clubs. So that's a really cool way to go and do whatever it is that you love to do. And this is student-led, so there are clubs for running, or there's clubs for
It's a surfing one too.
Surfing. There's a band, a music group called Spinal Chords, and they just played at our. We have an annual conference once a year, which we had just a couple of weeks ago. They played for the opening evening, which is a really fun evening. So there's lots and lots of multitude of ways, in fact, to join into all the different wonderful things that happen as part of student life. The things that you would expect, but it's just got a cool vibe here. I think Jaya touched on the fact that the academic program is quite rigorous, but there is a degree of support that you won't get in any other college, I feel.
Yeah, I would agree with that, especially because it's such a tight cohort and we've all been through it, and all the notes get passed down, and there's Google Drives of teachers doing certain videos of how to do certain adjustments and things like that. So, everyone is kind of here to just help you get through and not just get through, but get through well and happy and thriving as well.
It's a even though the standard is high, the vibe is not one of competitiveness. It's more about, okay, I'm strong here, but I'm not so strong here. Yeah. And so it's okay to be open about that. You don't have to hide and be in fear of the things that we're not perfect at, because none of us are. Yeah. We'll have strengths, but we don't cover the spectrum of things. We develop those other strengths, but they don't always just come naturally. So you'll find a person who's really naturally just inclined towards adjusting. They're very good at learning technique and picking that side of it up, but the academic side is perhaps a little more of a challenge, and that's okay. So there's a great supportive network and the culture between students, within year groups, between year groups, but the support systems around, we have pastoral care that is off the planet. It's amazing. Yeah.
So there was one more question that was more above from Upasna. What are the high school prerequisites for this college? And what grade? There's no, Philippa, right? Specific prerequisites?
No, we're absolutely fine with what subjects you might do whilst you're in high school or Upasana. We, of course, love the sciences. They're going to be very useful. But if you learn how to learn, if you learn how to be a good student, you're disciplined, you learn how to study effectively, then we can teach you what you need to know. We'll teach through a chiropractic lens. That makes it super meaningful, applicable. We have small class sizes. We have accessible, fantastic, caring lecturers and faculty who don't just know you by name. They know your story. They know who you are and where you might need a bit of extra explanation or whatever might be required. So yes, if it's possible to include some sciences, great. That's going to set you up well, because of course, science-based program. But we can work with people who perhaps haven't done physics or haven't done chemistry or whatever it might be. And the grade, I believe, I don't want to get this wrong, but I believe it's 73% in Canada is what the average has to be. 73, but it could be 63%, and I'd hate to get you that wrong. That's a very big difference. Pasna, if you would like to email me, and my email address, I believe, has been placed up there, I would love to cover off those sorts of things for you. If you have a pen handy, I can just rattle it off. It's the word recruitment, so recruitment at nzchiro.co.nz, and that is something I will just type in right here right now, because we have at NZ.
While Philip is doing that, I'm going to share with you all that choosing the worst reason to choose a chiropractic college is where it's located. So if you have an option to go close to home because you're close to family, although that program isn't going to provide what it is that you're looking for the type of chiropractor you want to become, sometimes you have to go halfway around the world to expand and grow as a person and open up like that closed rose petal flower. You know, you when you become a chiropractor, you want to become your full self because you're going to be a doctor and you're taking care of patients and you're going to be a kind of a life coach to them as well and help them in all different ways of life. So follow your heart, don't follow the location. And if you're like, oh, but I want to go to New Zealand, that's the exception to what I just said. No, I'm kidding.
I love it.
Yeah, and the New Zealand program, we're a small boutique sized chiropractic program. We have 300 and what, 307, 310.
Well, we have, I'll tell you at the size of the classes, and that might be super helpful. First year 1 is about 70, 75. It might creep to next year. We try to keep it small, but it's hard. 75 in year 1, and then years 2, 3, 4, and 5 is 105. And that difference between year 1 and the subsequent years is to allow for the students who choose to go off and do either a full or partial undergrad degree, such as a kinesiology degree that you've done, and then come in at that point. And that's a lot of our international students will do that. But it's now becoming a preferred pathway that people would choose just to come in at year 1 and skip out on doing the undergrad degree. And that's an economic decision that I understand completely. And if it is right for you, then that is totally a possible pathway. But we have opportunity for people to join at year 2, and that's totally fine. There's a lovely question here from Addison.
And speaking of how small the college is, I do know Abby. She's in my year and she's lovely. we kind of all know each other, to be completely honest. Like if you said anyone's name, I'd know who they were.
Yeah.
So it's got that small hometown feel. It's a family-like environment. And it's everybody, like as Philip has said before, it's not that competitiveness. It's more co-creative. Everybody's helping each other through, and it's just a wonderful experience. Where you choose to go to chiropractic college, if you all do, it does determine your entire career. And I don't say that lightly because no two chiropractic colleges are alike. Even Life University in Atlanta and Life West in California, they're different. Even though they're called Life, they're not legally connected. It's just the names they have. So let us know how we can help you figure out, if it's not chiropractic, what could be for you. We're here for you. We want you to excel at whatever it is you go towards. If it's chiropractic, we'll help you find the best fit for you.
Absolutely. Well, I have to say, thank you so much for the people who have chosen to come on and asked us questions. I'm grateful for that, because certainly the questions that any one person asks are often the ones somebody else is waiting to ask. So I'm very grateful for you sharing your questions. So please, but don't feel like this is over. You are very, very welcome to be in contact with me. I've put my email address there, and I would happily jump on a Zoom directly with anybody and spend the time. Jaya, I know, is accessible, and for anybody that would actually like to connect with her, I know she's been so kind and has done this for other prospective students. So potentially that might be a really nice thing, Addison, if you want to connect up with Jaya.
100%.
Yeah. You know, why don't you two reach out and chat, because that could be really, really helpful.
For sure.
There's often a bunch of questions that occur afterwards. But so what I'm trying to say is we're here and we're here to help you. So please feel free to let us know in what way we can do that best. Yeah.
And I just have one last thing before Jaya says what she's going to say, and that is, even if you all are not in any of the cities in Canada that I'm going to be in next week, if you know somebody that you think would be a good chiropractor or has said anything to you about, hey, I'm thinking maybe chiropractic, please share the link that's up in the chat with them, because I'll tell you this, the last thing I'm going to say tonight is that we don't have enough chiropractors in the world. There's 8 billion people on the planet. And if we're looking to remove that nervous system interference from their nervous system so they can be better off and at their optimum function and potential as human beings, we are short of chiropractors. So it's an amazing, amazing profession, and we would love for you to join in and let other people know as well.
That's a really valuable message. Thank you so much, David, because when people are clear and connected, the ripple effect of their regulated system has massive impact on the people around them, whether it's their close family, the community that they work in or go to school in. But it ripples out, because when we're regulated, when our body is functioning at its optimal best, then we show up as the best humans we can be. And that is the best way for us to populate our world.
100%.
Jaya, thank you so much
Thanks
for
for
coming
having
and
me.
joining us. I'm very grateful, and I hope that we have helped in some small way for anybody with any of these interests and questions, and we look to continue this conversation. Beautiful. And thank you, Logan, for hosting us and for putting this event on. We're really grateful for you.
Well, my pleasure. Thank you so much for an interesting and engaging discussion. I feel like I've learned a lot, and Jai, I really appreciate your time jumping in as well to give us your perspective. So thanks, everyone. We will send the recording around tomorrow as well. Be sure to reach Philippa with any questions, recruitment@nzchiro.co.nz. And otherwise, have a great evening. Thanks a ton.
Thanks, Logan. And if you
Thank you so
change your
much.
career, if you were inspired tonight, hit up Philippa and
Come
she'll
and
get
see
you an
us.
application.
You will be first to know. Thanks very much. Take care.
Thanks, guys.
Beautiful. Thank you. Bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye. Thanks, David.